Q6040-13. An example of a skill involving the psychomotor domain would be A. Learning to correctly evaluate a flight maneuver. B. Determining the temperature at a specific altitude using standard lapse rate. C. Programming a global positioning satellite, GPS, receiver. The correct answer is C. The psychomotor domain of learning focuses on physical skills and motor development. It involves acquiring and refining skills that require coordination, dexterity, and control of bodily movements. Programming a global positioning satellite, GPS, receiver involves physical actions and motor coordination, making it an example of a skill within the psychomotor domain. It requires the learner to manipulate buttons, dials, or touchscreens to input information, set waypoints, and configure the device for navigation purposes. Programming a GPS receiver involves fine motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and manual dexterity to navigate through menus, enter data accurately, and manipulate the device's controls. 6040-12. An example of a skill involving the cognitive domain would be A. Programming a global positioning satellite, GPS, receiver. B. Making a logbook entry. C. Learning to fly a precision approach procedure. The correct answer is C. The cognitive domain of learning involves mental processes such as knowledge acquisition, comprehension, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. It focuses on intellectual abilities and the development of cognitive skills. Learning to fly a precision approach procedure requires cognitive processes, making it an example of a skill within the cognitive domain. It involves acquiring and understanding complex information related to the procedure, such as understanding the instrument approach chart, studying the required steps, and comprehending the navigation aids and instruments involved. The learner needs to grasp the principles, concepts, and procedures associated with precision approaches and apply them effectively during flight. By learning to fly a precision approach procedure, the learner demonstrates cognitive abilities such as knowledge acquisition, comprehension, analysis, and application. They acquire knowledge about the procedure, understand its components, and develop the cognitive skills required to execute it accurately. 7320. What are the 6 major levels of Bloom's taxonomy of the cognitive domain? A. Recall information, understanding, application, analyze, synthesize, evaluate. B. Knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis. C. Define, describe, determine, points out, create. The correct answer is B. Bloom's taxonomy of the cognitive domain is a framework that categorizes different levels of cognitive skills and knowledge acquisition. The 6 major levels of Bloom's taxonomy are as follows. 1. Knowledge. This level involves the recall of factual information, concepts, or theories. It focuses on the ability to remember and recognize previously learned material. 2. Comprehension. This level involves understanding and interpreting information. It requires the learner to grasp the meaning, summarize ideas, or explain concepts in their own words. 3. Application. This level involves the use of learned information or concepts in new situations. It requires the learner to apply knowledge to solve problems, analyze scenarios, or make predictions. 4. Analysis. This level involves breaking down information into its component parts and examining the relationships between them. It requires the learner to analyze, compare, and differentiate different elements or ideas. 5. Synthesis. This level involves creating something new by combining or reorganizing elements. It requires the learner to generate ideas, design solutions, or develop original interpretations. 6. Evaluation. This level involves making judgments or assessments based on criteria or evidence. It requires the learner to evaluate, critique, or justify ideas, arguments, or solutions. These 6 levels provide a hierarchical structure that represents increasingly complex cognitive skills, with knowledge as the foundation and evaluation as the highest level of cognitive ability. 6034. According to one theory, some forgetting is due to the practice of submerging an unpleasant experience into the subconscious. This is called A. Blanking, B. Immersion, C. Repression. The correct answer is C. Repression is a psychological concept that refers to the unconscious act of pushing or submerging distressing or unpleasant experiences, memories, or thoughts into the subconscious mind. It is a defense mechanism that serves as a protective measure to prevent conscious awareness of these unpleasant experiences. According to this theory, some forgetting occurs because these unpleasant experiences are repressed and kept hidden from conscious recall. Repression involves the removal of the unwanted content from conscious awareness, making it difficult for the individual to retrieve or remember the suppressed information voluntarily. Repression is believed to be a way for the mind to cope with trauma or emotionally charged experiences. By submerging these experiences into the subconscious, individuals can temporarily avoid the distress associated with them. However, repression may also result in the inability to recall or access the repressed information consciously. 6035. When the learning of similar things overshadows other learning experiences, it is called A. Suppression, B. Correlation, C. Interference. The correct answer is C. Interference is a cognitive phenomenon in which the learning or recall of new information is affected or overshadowed by the presence of similar or competing information. It occurs when previously learned material interferes with the acquisition or retrieval of new information, or when new information disrupts the recall of previously learned material. When interference takes place, the similarity between the learning experiences can create confusion or competition for attention and memory resources. This can result in decreased performance or difficulty in remembering the specific details or characteristics of each individual learning experience. Interference can occur in two forms. 1. Proactive interference. This happens when previously learned information disrupts the acquisition or recall of new information. The prior learning interferes with the new learning, leading to forgetting or decreased performance on the new material. 2. Retroactive interference. This occurs when newly learned information interferes with the recall or retention of previously learned information. The newly acquired material disrupts the retrieval of older memories, resulting in forgetting or reduced access to the earlier learned content.